not and
In
you
the
look
red.
at in the red, full red. When you compare that to what they've even borrowed already in terms of external debt. What are your thoughts on this and the how actionable this will be?
My first response: Nigerians must learn and understand the behavior of the animal called an ostrich. An ostrich is a very big bird, one of the biggest, that has a very big backside.
Mm.
What the ostrich does when it's in trouble is that it puts its long neck inside a hole, and because it believes that as long as it's not seeing the enemy or the person pursuing it, it is has disappeared. The
Mm-hmm.
troubles have gone, and then you kill it.
Mm.
So, in essence, ostriches are not too intelligent. Now, in Nigeria, here we are. We have pushed, we have fought, and then finally the president passes. Wow. So easy, really? He said he's committed to it. First point: commitment is not payment, commitment is not a guarantee.
It's not even a law yet. He's still got to get it through
Yes,
the
he's
National
still going to
Assembly.
pass it through the National Assembly. And I expect the National Assembly to not tear it apart, but just simply face the facts. Because at the end of the day, when will you pay the 30,000? Remember, 30,000 is the minimum wage, so it's
Yes.
scaled all the way up to all the officers.
Yes.
Already, we didn't have adequate funding for the budget as appropriated a few months ago.
Absolutely.
So where are you going to get the extra?
Also, considering the reality that
Yes.
our revenue, that as a country we generated, was about 2 point something trillion. The recurrent expenditure in terms of just servicing salaries alone of the federal government at the
Right.
time was 1.3, 1.6 a trillion. If you're going to add this extra amount, that puts us far beyond what
Yes,
we're bringing in.
this is what they refer to as building a pie in the sky. Now, you see, ASU had the same issue. This is deja vu, meaning we have gone through this before. What is the federal government's position with ASU? That, as of the time they signed that agreement in 2000 and what, that no one understood the reality, and obviously we cannot pay. And that's the federal government's position to ASU. ASU say, no way, you signed it, you have to. So here we go again. Labor is going to get to that point. The federal government, whoever is going to take in the next administration, obviously is going to have to deal with this. The state governments, good luck to them. They have not been able to raise their revenues. They will simply just cry, and the indebtedness owed to the workers will only improve. Like I said, remember the ostrich. The ostrich
Thank you,
puts its
Devoe.
head in the ground and acts as if nothing is there.
Thank you, Devoe.
Sorry, can I just
In one
quickly,
sentence,
in
for
just a
time
second,
reasons.
in
Yeah.
just a sentence.
Yeah.
I'm not really of the opinion that if the minimum wage increases, that means it's meant to cascade all the way up.
That's what's
Yes,
happened
that's
every
what's
time
happened.
it's increased.
Exactly.
That's just our pattern.
That's the minimum.
Ideally, anyway,
Yeah.
it shouldn't necessarily mean
Yes.
all the salaries
Again,
will be
but you were the
reviewed
one that mentioned, do
upwards.
we exist in an ideal country?
We're
said that
ostriches.
All right, Lagos. We'll move on to this next story from Punch newspaper. Igbo monarch sets December 28th to end Osu caste. So the majority of the traditional rulers in the southeast, major traditional rulers, they actually came together and they decided to put down a date for this practice that has been in existence for many years, over 200 years, according to them. So they put on December 28th for it to end. Devoe. Let's go into the story and the details, because I mean, if you really take a close look at it, they said the practice has been in existence over the years. It seemed like at the time where it was put into the practice, or where it started, it was from the slave trade era, and they put a tribe aside, reserved for that particular purpose.
Igbo kwenu, kwezenu. Will they really speak up in this matter? You see, there are a lot of implications here. We all know that we speak of segregation and bias, prejudice all the time, and
this subsidizing of petroleum products and then let the market determine the prices. Well, this was raised when the GMD of the NNPC, that's Dr. Mekante Baru,
yes,
met with the Senate lead or the senators last week. There was an hearing on the subsidy charges of the $3.5 billion that is alleged to have been spent illegally
yes.
on subsidy
which
funds.
is separate from this particular case, because remember yesterday there was an exclusive from Premium Times newspaper where this was reported.
Absolutely. So I'm getting to it. But, the whole thing actually started from the $3.5 billion. He went to the Senate to defend the $3.5 billion. No, he didn't actually go to defend it, but he actually went to talk about the subsidy that he's been spending. And in that process, he pointed out that the NNPC was actually spending money from the NLNG dividend. And it was there that he actually came out with it that roughly Premium Times now went to do their investigation and found out that $1.05 billion was actually spent.
It's approved by the president without recourse or without seeking recourse from the National Assembly.
Yes, but it's been spent. It was approved by the presidency, but then what should have actually happened is that this money belongs to everybody. It belongs to it's actually supposed to be under the consolidated revenue account. So the money should have actually been paid into the federal account, and it should have been shared across the three tiers of government, which is the federal, the
It
state,
was stolen.
and the local government. But it wasn't. So the president just went ahead and spent it. So now there's an investigation that is being carried out, which rightfully should be so. So they're doing the investigation on the $1.05 billion, and they're also still carrying on with the investigation of the $3 billion as well by the Senate Committee on Gas.
Thank you
It
very
was
much.
stolen. Money that you have not gotten appropriation or permission for is stolen money.
Okay, time.
All right, Devoe. So you're next for this story from Guardian newspaper.
Now you
Nigeria,
can speak to
Nigeria, Greece sign pact to boost economic ties. It's a very interesting story because in the details, Devoe, they said they've signed a memorandum of understanding to boost volume of trade between both countries and find new grounds for economic cooperation and relationship really, and extending to visas. Now this will get most people excited because in a statement
Wow.
that was quoted to the president of the Greek Nigeria Chamber of Commerce, Ninos Iamakis, he said, we want to simplify, we also want to simplify the visa process for genuine Nigerian entrepreneurs that want to visit Greece and do business with their Greek counterparts.
Does Greece have money?
I was just about to say that actually. You know how much debt they've got.
Well, yes, they're in debt, but Greece looks a whole lot better. But
Does it?
the truth is this:
Does it?
they do, they do.
almost
But
anything is
however,
better.
here we go again with the same ostrich behavior. They're dangling, which Valentine has mentioned. They're dangling the carrots in front of us. Visa, really? Why do you all want to leave your beloved country? Come on, let's show some patriotism. However, the Grecian, that's the Hellenic Chambers of Commerce, they are in Nigeria. They will be here they started yesterday. They'll be here for about 3 days on a trade mission to try and ramp up bilateral and economic ties
Yes.
in terms of agriculture, construction, energy, and technology. Now, yes, they will make access easier on both sides in terms of visa, etc. But that's like I said, that's a carrot. The real issue is this: bilateral trade is two-sided, meaning I get, you get.
I give, you give.
You give, I give.
Mutually beneficial.
Thank you. Now, so they're here and they're trying to see how they can make stuff work for them. What are we doing? When are we going? Well, I've not heard the Nigerian Trade Mission going to one country or the other and how they sat down with the country people. You can see Brexit, you can see the Chinese, you can see everybody is coming. Where I want to start reporting the Nigerian Trade Mission was in Brazil, trying to discuss how we could import and export, how they could buy our things and increase. That's what I want to hear.
What do we have to offer?
Oh, we have a lot to offer, Valentine.
Right.
Jeez.
Okay.
Do you want us to have an economic summit right
no,
here?
No, please.
No,
Huh?
we don't have time for it. We have 4 minutes left.
Thank you. Next story. Donors contributes 95% of Nigeria's HIV funding. That's coming from the health ministry. So Ijadola Olubenga, who's the assistant director of prevention of mother-to-child transmission and head of the National AIDS and STI program of the ministry, disclosed this at the media parley in Calabar. Gbolahon, what are your thoughts?
Well, this media pally was a way of sensitizing people and creating some form of awareness about AIDS and the donors that are behind this. And it talks a lot because we're saying 95% of the HIV treatment fund is actually coming from international agencies. Oof.
And private firms.
And private firms. So it actually states here that, we have the US government who contributes over 75.5%. Then we have the global funds. Everybody knows the global funds. They were in Nigeria just a few weeks ago and they met with the Minister of Finance. They contribute 17.4%. AIDS Healthcare Foundation, 1.2%. And Nigerian government contributes a paltry sum of 5.4% or so, and so we should be grateful to the US or so. We can't even have issues with the US because when we're looking at the situation here, they're helping quite a lot and contributing quite a lot. And even from this report, it actually states that it's only 40% of those that are living with HIV AIDS that are currently being treated. So we do need a lot more than this.
Yes, and the government
for
needs to
treatment.
really get involved, especially recognizing the fact that this has been on for over 18 years. It means that the government has not really
Been
paid
pulling its
attention
weight.
to
We
that.
need to pull our weight.
Moving on to this next story, thank you very much. Punch newspaper has this one. Federal government to stop open sale of drugs next month. So the Pharmacists Council of Nigeria came out with this and said that they would enforce the ban of open sales of drugs in December. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'll start with the directive, and this directive is the National Drug Distribution Guidelines, which was issued by the federal government in 2012. So we're now currently in 2018. We're talking 6 years now. It's not been implemented yet. How long does it take for us to implement laws? It makes a lot of sense for us to watch and protect the citizens anyway. We can't keep on having people selling drugs as if they're selling Smarties and chocolates on the streets
That
or
is
so.
how it's sold.
Yeah, go to Idumagbo. It's hot.
Thank you
Terrible.
very
Thank you very
much.
much,
We've come to the end of the show. We've got but a few messages that have come through. Wise Man 11 says, "Beware of the Greek and their gifts." Trojan horses arising. While we've got Agobs, who says, "It says a lot about the state of our nation when we constantly remind ourselves that we are in a democracy." Yes, it does indeed. We go over to our WhatsApp. Richard from Kilburn says, "Minimum wage 30k approval, eye service of course. Let them first slash the magnanimous amount the National Assembly members take home and put them on part-time salaries. Secondly, all the benefits that governors derive from pensions after serving 4 or 8 years in office is unnecessary and it accumulates to financial waste. They should stop making promises that they cannot keep. So let's be aware that inflation is uncontrollable." Very interesting. Wayinka says, Bodajimo does not fail to shock me. The same boss that came out to say we are charging Senator Ajobi to court over exam malpractice and they will not be following up Anti-Kemi Zone because nobody reported her. Now he's implying that burglary is not a threat to life. It's a bit different to assassination attempt though. He says, honestly, our police from the IG to the bottom need training, he says. Let's see if we can get one or two more in. This is in from Tony Ayo, who says, "Please can Chief Adebanjo try his popularity influence in the West and compare with Jagaban? A good example is 2015. Okay, thank you. I'm not sure if that's particularly relevant. But we have got... That's it, actually.
That's
We're
it,
done.
yeah.
Thank you
Coming up
very
next.
much for the messages that have come through. Please continue the conversation with our analysts on their handles.
Yes, at Gbolahon is Mr. G Quest, and you can find Devoe at Devoe on Twitter.
Very straightforward.
Lagos will be talking about sports and sharing all the stories inside of the locker room, and that's coming up in 15 minutes.
All right, good morning.
Get quick access to loans from Cage Financial.
Your clock is fast, though.
Yes, that's it.
7:59 is
No,
1
but
minute
it's
fast,
only-
isn't it?
No, yes, it's a minute fast. But it's important so that you guys can see and stop speaking so we can end on time.
And that's not really on time.
Actually, it's on time now because we finished.
Yes, we're on time.
And that's because even after we told you stop talking.
That's not good.
You should extend this. We're making 45 minutes.
Right.
Please.
You don't really.
Yes.
MTN sponsors this one. MTN used to sponsor this?
Yeah.
Oh, really? So you used to go on a break? You would go on a break? Alright, guys, take care, man. See you. Bye.
Financials.com, and you can get approved for a loan in less than 3 hours, which can cover your travel expenses to the village and buy gifts for your 750 cousins.
I know, that's fine. I know, but this was actually back here.
Zero 01-631-7243. Start your Christmas plans early, time is going.
I know, yeah, not really, but that's how it operates. Because I noticed as well that if you switch
Page
to
Financial,
this is plugged in
taking
off.
you further.
Sorry, can you?
Bless them with the face, bless them with the
Type
pretty
what you need to
mind.
type inside.
I may look like her, but we're not the same. Mind you. All the things I'm saying are spinning your mind too. Call it mental gymnastics or better. Call it mind fuel. You can find your mind when you let the music find you.
Because you're done.
Here on Smooth 98.1.
Let's try it out for locker room.
Yeah, I'm doing it now.
This
I really
is
did
Miss
because
Eva
I
Johnson,
what usually I
and
do
don't
is
you
I go and
touch
check
that.
it myself to see what's happening.
Okay.
And also yesterday for Grapevine, we didn't have that issue.
Okay.
It just feels good.
Take your extension. Get it.
Yes. So you can see. Yes. Wow. Just do this small travel. Crucial, let's say this might travel to the same season. I'm heading to the venue. Essentially, more exhibition.